Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new and improved Craigslist and Roof training. If you're watching this, you are on the university. This is a recorded version after the training was live, but this is Jenny from the marketing department teaching this training today. We are going to talk more about how to get better traffic on our Craigslist ads. We're going to talk a lot about best practices, and we're going to talk less about how to actually post. If you are new to Craigslist and Roof as a whole, we have another webinar that's on the university that would be more beneficial for you to watch first. This is a great follow-up training to that. So we're going to jump right in. This training should take no longer than 30 minutes. Our agenda for this training, first I'm going to talk about the goal for the training, really what I want you to get out of it. Then we are going to compare Roof and Craigslist, just go over the differences. We are going to talk about best practices for improving your ads. That's where we're going to spend most of our time today. And then we'll finish up with the contact information. So the goal for this training is I really want to refresh your expectations on what the marketing team and what your regional managers expect for you to be posting, the frequencies, also the mode of posting. So we're going to talk about expectations on the next slide. We're also going to talk about best practices. You're going to learn how to improve your ads. You're going to hear from your own peers, people that are already utilizing our best practices. I interviewed quite a few managers, so you're going to get to hear from other Wasatch property managers. And then finally, we're going to share practical advice on how to make your ads more effective. So jumping right into the expectations. For Roof, when you think of Roof, you should be thinking of property manager. If your property does not use a property manager to post to Roof, then that's kind of on a one-person basis. I mean, the property manager should be in charge of posting to Roof. They should be posting 3 times a day, every single day that the office is open. And if you are not there on the weekends, if the property manager is not there on the weekends, it is absolutely the expectation that you are responsible for delegating that role to another staff member. It is your responsibility to make sure that you're choosing someone that can be trusted and can be responsible enough to post to Roof on the weekends. There's also the expectation that you're using your tracking number, but this is preloaded into Roof, so that shouldn't be a problem. That should already be there. If you want to double check what your tracking number is, you can always call us in marketing, and I would be happy to pull that out of Rent Dynamics for you. We also expect that you're arranging your photos in interest order, that you're really taking the extra 5 seconds to look through the pictures and to see if they're good photos, and if they're not good photos, to have a folder saved on your computer where you can add photos really quickly. You can order the photos from the #1 photo, which is the photo that gets seen on the ad first. When you're searching through everything, we expect that that photo is being manually uploaded if it doesn't look good. If it's a picture of the bathroom, it's probably not that great. If it's a picture of the pool, it's probably going to get a lot more traffic. Pictures of the exterior, the pools, and kitchens tend to get the best traffic. So we expect that if your photo pops up and it's just a picture of the sign outside, it's probably not going to do very well, so you should be changing your photos. And then finally, we expect that you're changing headlines and checking prices. This goes along with photos. I mean, changing them is really the only thing that you have to do in Roof, since the ad's being created for you. So the least you can do is change your headline and make sure that your prices are correct. Those pull directly from the website. So if your price is wrong, then we need to fix on your website as well. So let us know in marketing if your prices are wrong. Okay, moving along to Craigslist. When you think of Craigslist, you should be thinking about leasing agents and possibly financial managers. Really, it's the leasing agents that should be posting to Craigslist manually 3 times a day, every single day that they work. I think that there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to the manual post from Craigslist. Really, it's in your best interest to post 3 times a day, and the reason why we say that is because you're probably only going to be on the homepage of Craigslist maybe within 1 hour of you posting it. Unless you live in a really, really small market that doesn't have any traffic, but we don't really have any properties that fall into that guideline. So if you're posting only 3 times a day, you're probably going to be on the home page for probably 3 hours during that day. So think about if you only posted 1 time that day, or you haven't posted in 2 or 3 days, no one's going to see your ads unless they're on the home page, because most people aren't clicking through Craigslist page and page and page. So that's why you should really be posting 3 times a day, is because we want you on the home page as often as possible and for as long as possible. All of the ads should be spaced out amongst the office staff. So this is a little schedule that you could use to help you space out your ads. Not only is it important that you personally space out your ads for yourself, but you also need to be spacing out the ads amongst the office, because if you post at 9 a.m., your manager posts at 9:30, and then your other leasing agent or financial posts at 9:45, you're going to have 3 ads that all are for the same property, and they probably all look pretty similar, right, one after the other, and that can lead to a lot of flagging and getting blacklisted. And if you've ever heard those terms, you know that it can be really hard to figure out why you are getting flagged, and most likely it's because your ads are too close together amongst the office. So we recommend that you do some kind of timer. You set up some kind of timer in the office, or just get into the routine of always posting at a certain time. So a good example is for one leasing agent to post at 9 a.m., then have your manager post to Roof at 10, and then have your other leasing agent post at 11. And if your office is bigger than 2 leasing agents or a leasing agent or financial, you can adjust this accordingly. Maybe do them every 45 minutes or every half an hour if you have a really large staff. But really, you need to be working together to post not close enough to each other. I mean, if you're posting more than or less than 30 minutes next to each other, it's just going to run into a lot of issues. So really, this is not just spacing out amongst yourself, but spacing out amongst the rest of the office. So it might be a good idea to get a schedule going, so that way you can develop habits of when you post, and it's going to be much easier to post if it's always at the same time each day. Also, your ads should look different. This also has a lot of area for improvement, and I know that it's so much easier just to copy and paste your ad from one that you created a few months ago, but I mean, really think about it. If it didn't work 3 months ago, it's probably not going to work now. And if you're not getting any traffic and you're not getting any calls, it's probably because your ads, the body of the ad just isn't very good. And I think it's okay to copy and paste if your ads are working, but if you are struggling for phone calls, you never get phone calls, it's probably because your ads they're just outdated, and they're probably not that eye-catching anymore, because prospects are probably looking at probably a dozen or more ads every single day. So they're going to open one, and immediately they're going to judge it. And if it seems like something they've already seen before, they're probably just going to skip right past it, because if they know that they've already seen it and they read it before and they didn't like it 2 days ago when they read it, they're probably not going to like it today. And if they've seen that post multiple times and have not liked it every single time they've seen it, it's just a really big snowball of kind of a waste of time to post if you're not going to be changing the content of your ads. They really should be looking different each time. They should not just be copy and pasted from your previous ads. Finally, the last expectation of Craigslist is that you're using your first and tracking number, your first name and tracking number on every single ad. And this is so important, not only from a marketing perspective. It helps me to know whose ads I'm looking at, but it also helps the prospect know who to ask for when they call. It also helps give a lot more credibility to your ads. They don't look as kind of scammy or sketchy. They really do look like an honest, genuine ad when we have our names associated with them. So that's a big thing. I think most of you guys do that very well, but the easiest way to not get traffic is to not use a tracking number, because if you're not using your tracking number, it's basically like you're not posting at all. Because if I can't track it, I can't give you the credit for it, right? So really do an audit of your tracking numbers. Your property manager can pull all the tracking numbers for your entire property through Rent Dynamics, but if you are confused on how to pull that for your property manager and you're confused, then please call someone in the marketing team and we can find that for you right away, because that's one of the biggest things that trips people up, is not using their correct tracking number. Okay, those were our expectations. Let's get into our best practices. This is where we will spend a little bit more time. So what just popped up is called a ranking summary report. And this report is sent out to every regional manager and area leader, and it's also sent out to the marketing team. And there's different sections of this report, but the section that I look at is a Craigslist traffic report. And each week I get to see, for the past 7 days, how much traffic did you get from Craigslist. And there are many different tracking numbers associated with Craigslist. Every single person has a different tracking number. So sometimes the manager got the most ads, as you can see from Ranchwood. A lot of times it's Roof that gets the most ads, gets the most traffic. And looking at these numbers, it just reaffirms why we believe in Roof so much and why we want to take advantage of it, because it just works. It really, really works. And if you give it the effort and you really put in the time to post every single day, you never miss a post, you're going to see better traffic. I really guarantee that you will. And I wouldn't be pushing this so hard if I thought that it didn't work. But Craigslist is by far our biggest traffic source outside of our Is Your Home website. So really looking at these numbers, you might have a regional that sends you these numbers and says, I want you to improve these, I want you to fix them, this isn't very good. And it can be kind of intimidating to know, how do I do that? How do I fix this? With some questions that you can ask yourself that will help trigger some ideas for improvement. So question 1. This is also a good example if you were to call me in marketing and say, Jenny, I just don't know how to improve my numbers. I just don't know how to get more traffic. Can you please help me? Can you please look at my ads? Can you tell me anything better that I can be doing? These are the questions that I would walk through with you. So this is also a good example or a good exercise that you can do just with your own property, with your own leasing agents, with yourself, even with your regional. You don't always have to go the extra step to involve us, because I'm giving you all the insights right now. So first I would ask you, are you posting 3 times a day? I would look at the Roof report that marketing sends out every Monday morning with the entire week, and I would make sure that you're posting a minimum of 3 times every single day. And if you're not posting, then I would really ask you, what's keeping you from doing that? What is getting in the way of you not being able to make Roof a priority? Is it because you're just too busy? Is it because you aren't making a good habit, so it's never sticking? Is it because a prospect keeps walking in and you just can't ever sit at your computer? Is it because you don't know how to post a Roof? I mean, what's getting in the way of you posting 3 times a day? And how can we overcome that? Because if you're not posting, I can't really make a suggestion for how to improve your ads if you're not posting. So that's really where we need to start. But let's say that you're posting 3 times a day, every single day. Maybe you only missed 1 or 2 posts on one day. So we're going to keep moving down the question. Then I would ask, are you changing your photos and your headlines? Are they eye-catching? Are you putting in that extra effort, that extra step to customize your ads instead of just accepting the way that Roof has them? If you're not changing your headlines, I will send you a list of all the headlines that marketing has created. We sent it out to everyone in the office, and I will send it to you as well if you don't have that email. But really, we've taken all the work out of headlines. The only thing that we can't control are your photos, so it needs to be on you to choose a photo that looks best. And like I said before, the exterior shots and pools and kitchens tend to be the best eye-catching photos. Really stay away from anything that is a parking lot, a laundry facility, bathrooms, anything that just isn't eye-catching, if you wouldn't click on it, your prospect's not going to click on it. So really think, would I click on this ad? And if I would, go with it. If I wouldn't, change it. So let's say that you're posting 3 times a day, every day, and you're changing your headlines. I mean, maybe it's not perfect. Maybe you're not always changing it, but you're changing your headlines 90% of the time. So then I would go through the next question, and then I would say, are you using your correct tracking number? And I would look in Rent Dynamics and make sure that your tracking number is correct. And most likely it's going to be correct through Roof. I've never seen an issue where it's not been correct, but especially for your leasing agents, the tracking numbers can get kind of lost or they can get messed up. So I would definitely look at your tracking number. But let's say that your tracking number is correct. Then we would move down, and then I would ask you, are your ads getting flagged over 50% of the time? And you would know if they're getting flagged if all of your ads are red. They're going to have this long red bar on them to say, they basically say the ad's been deleted. And that's what happens when they get flagged. They get deleted and no one else can see them. So if your ads are getting flagged over 50% of the time, then that's a whole other question, and we really need to evaluate why your ad's getting flagged. And most likely it's because you're probably posting either too often, or people in your office are all posting too close together. That's really one of the easiest ways to identify if you're getting flagged, is if the posts are too close together, because if a prospect is looking at them and he sees one after the other for a property, it's going to seem kind of scammy, and it only takes one person hitting that flag button to get an ad deleted. So if you're getting flagged maybe like once or twice for the entire month, don't worry about it. That's pretty normal. I wouldn't change anything. If your ads are getting flagged over 50% of the time, then you can call us in marketing and we can try and figure out what's going on with that. But let's say that your ads are not getting flagged. I would ask you your next question, are you changing the content of your ads? If you are not, this is probably where you're going to see the biggest difference, because like I said before, if you're just copying and pasting, or sometimes Roof, I mean always Roof, creates an ad and it's always identical. It's the same every single time. So if you're not taking that extra effort to customize it, most likely it's just going to be skimmed and just passed along. Someone's not going to take it seriously because they already know that they didn't like it when they saw it the first time, and it's going to look familiar to them. So really take the extra effort to change your ads. You can just open up a Word document and make 3 or 4 or 5 different layouts of ads and just customize those. I mean, you don't have to start from ground zero every single time. It's okay to get ideas from your previous ads, but just don't copy and paste them, because it's just not worth it. It really isn't worth it. It's not worth your time to do that, and you're not seeing any traffic, and it's because you're not taking the extra time to actually customize them. So this is usually where the problem lies, is not changing the content, and I'm going to give you a ton of examples in the next slide. But let's finish with this one. The last question I would ask is, are your ads going live or are they going to drafts? And sometimes this can be a common problem where the ads go to your drafts folder, and that basically means that the ad never went live. It was never published. No one ever saw the ad, and Craigslist just needed you to basically okay the ad for one final time, because when you change things in your ads, if you change the price, if you change the photos, Craigslist just wants to double check and will ask you to confirm. And if you never confirm, then the ads will go to drafts. So sometimes I run into this issue where we notice we have like 6 or 7 ads in drafts and nothing's been published, and the manager's like, I swear I'm posting, and everything's in drafts. So double check your little drafts folder. It's kind of like an email folder where it keeps a running sum, so you can kind of see the little icon that says 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it will keep a running total for you, so you will be able to see if you have ads. If you don't see a number next to drafts, that means you don't have any drafts. So here is some advice from some of the managers through Wasatch, and I got to talk to Jennifer at Broadmoor, and I asked her, I told her you're so great with posting 3 times a day, every single day. Broadmoor never misses a post. How do you do that? And she said that there's a setting in Roof that you can turn on to send you reminders. It will actually email you a reminder saying to post to Roof. So I thought that was so easy to do. I asked her what kind of headlines work best for her, and she said that anytime she says fully fenced-in backyard or a townhome style, and that those work best for her. So if those apply to you, if you have townhomes or you have fenced-in backyards, try those headlines and see if they work out for you. I also talked to Norma at Canyon Ridge, and she talked a little bit more about setting a reminder. This is good if your leasing agents are forgetful. You can just set a reminder on your phone even to go off. And in time, in the beginning, it might be kind of hard to remember to do. So setting a reminder is a perfect way to get that habit building. And probably after maybe like 2 months, maybe even just a few weeks, you're going to get used to always posting at the same time, and then you might not need that reminder anymore because it's going to become a habit. And that's really ideally what would happen, is that you know and you own it. I'm a leasing agent. I always post at 9 a.m. I always post at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. I always post at 3 p.m. And just own that. I mean, take responsibility and take ownership of your post. Don't rely on your manager to always be telling you when. But it's okay if you want to set a reminder on your phone, so that way you can have some sort of kind of something to keep you accountable. I'll say that. I also talked to Mindy at Park on Center, and she says that she has a timer that goes off every 2 hours. And when she has an appointment that comes in, she just adjusts the timer and posts as close to that time as she could, because that's probably what's going to happen. That's probably what you're running into, is that you know you're supposed to be posting at noon, but then a prospect walks in, and what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to post and talk to a prospect at the same time? And I totally understand that. I get that. But it doesn't mean that you can't adjust your time. It doesn't mean that you can't work with the other people in your office to kind of switch times. Maybe your other leasing agent is supposed to post at 1, and they have a prospect at 1, and they didn't have one at 12. I mean, you can switch. You can switch times. You can adjust. It's not the end of the world if you're 20 minutes late on your post. But what I don't want to happen is you get so far behind with your posts that you just give up. And you say, well, I never got to post my 9 a.m., so I might as well not post my noon, but I'll try and post my 3 p.m., but oh no, now it's 3:30 and I missed my time, so I'm not going to post at all. I mean, there's not an excuse for just having prospects walking in as a means of not posting, because if we lived by that, we would never post. So it's okay to adjust, but don't let yourself get so overwhelmed by saying, well, I forgot to do it this morning, and now I forgot this afternoon. I might as well not post at all because now I'm going to be off. I mean, adjust. And if you're having a hard time managing your time and managing your schedule, talk to your property manager. They've been in that role. They've been in that situation most likely, where they understand the frustrations of dealing with a lot of walk-ins, but they should be your next resource for how to manage your time. So it's okay to set a timer, and it's okay to adjust your time, but it should be teamwork amongst the office on getting your schedules to kind of line up and match up. Bianca at River Oaks said that friendly competition makes it fun, and I would agree with her. If you have some leasing agents that are struggling to post 3 times a day, maybe make a contest where first you just post 3 times a day and you reward anyone that posts 3 times a day. And then maybe when you get good at that, then you can adjust it and you can say, okay, now who can post the closest to their correct time? And you start making a contest out of that. And then maybe you can make a contest on who can make the best headline, or who can get, who has the best photos. So I think that it's fun to work in stages in the contest and a competition, and kind of start low and then work your skills up. Something that I would suggest, if you struggle with having your ads go to drafts, and I know that that can be frustrating, Craigslist will actually send an email to you saying that it's a draft. And you can actually forward your Gmail account or your Yahoo account to your Wasatch email address. So if you're struggling with having your ads go to drafts, forward your Craigslist email account, because then they'll come directly to your Wasatch account, and then you can stay on top of the problem and be aware of it instead of having to check Craigslist every hour if your ad went to draft. Just easier to have your emails forwarded. So if you need help forwarding your emails, you can always call me. It's super easy if you just Google how do I forward my emails. You'll get a little tutorial, but I can also walk you through that. So that's the best practices. This really went over the operational side of Roof and Craigslist. It went over the posting habits. But let's say I'm already doing everything on that list. I mean, maybe I'm not perfect, but I'm doing as much as I can, and more likely than not, I'm already doing the best practices, and I still am not getting any traffic. What do I do? Let's talk about how to improve an individual ad. This is especially important for manual Craigslist posts. You can also do this with Roof, but especially manual posts. First, make sure you are hitting the no reply box. If you leave the email option open, I guarantee you people will try and contact you through email, because we live in a day and age where people don't want to interact with people over the phone. They don't want to interact with them face-to-face. They want to do it electronically. I mean, we're talking about prospects on Craigslist. If they're searching for an apartment online, they probably want to communicate online. So if you give them the option to email you, they will email you. And we're never going to follow up with those people because we just don't check that account. I mean, if you want to develop the habit of checking that, that's perfectly fine. But I think it's a better use of your time to mark the box, the no reply box, and say only replies to the phone number, and make sure that it's your tracking number. So make sure that you're doing that. Next, add more body to your ads. If you go super short, you might not be capturing the true greatness of your property. If you're only posting maybe one sentence, that this is a property in South Jordan, Utah, and we have a playground, we have a pool, we have, what else would you have? A laundry facility. I mean, if you're posting like one sentence and 4 or 5 amenities, it's probably not going to be as effective as if you were to take a little bit extra time and really bulk up the ad and stay as much as you can, because maybe someone is skimming through the ads and wants to read if you have stainless steel appliances in your kitchen. Maybe someone's reading through ads and is skimming them to see if you have hardwood flooring or if you have a jacuzzi. Like, there are people that are reading through ads so quickly and looking for things, and if you only give them 4 or 5 different amenities that we have and they don't see what they're looking for, they're going to pass by. But we probably do have what they're looking for. We're just not sharing it. So don't go super short. Take the extra 2 minutes to really think about, what are my prospects asking for when they come? What am I talking about when we're touring people? What are we always referring to when we are closing our sales? That's what you want to put in your ads. Are people asking about washers and dryers? Talk about that in the ads. Are they ever talking about if you have a coffee shop down the road? Talk about that. I mean, it's perfectly fine to talk about your community. And as long as we're following fair housing laws, then it's perfectly fine to talk about different things that your community or that your city offers. So if you have some concerns or don't know what to talk about, talk to your property manager first, just to make sure that we're following fair housing laws. Next, and probably the biggest one, is do a photo upgrade. It's probably time to update your photos. If your property has changed within the last 6 months, it's absolutely a time to update your photos. If your photos are over a year old, it's absolutely time to do a photo upgrade. So if you are a leasing agent or financial, walk your property for an hour and take photos, and do it on a sunny day. It's probably going to look much nicer than a gloomy or rainy day, but walk your property and take photos of everything. It doesn't mean you have to use all your photos if you take them all, but it's much better to have a huge kind of arsenal of photos that you can use instead of just the 4 or 5 that you always use. So in my opinion, you should be taking photos every single season, because things that are important to you in the winter are not as important to you in the summertime. So maybe your prospect wants to see a fireplace. Maybe they want to see if you have central heating in the winter. That's going to be more enticing to them. Maybe they want to see the snow on the trees. I mean, I think that's so pretty. And when you're in the season, it's easy to want things in that same season. If it's the summertime and you see a picture of ice on trees, it's probably not going to be as effective. So you can take photos every single season. There's no limit to how many photos you can take, and as long as they're nice quality, I mean, if they're blurry, if they're fuzzy, if they're all slanted, don't use them. Use your judgment, because the more professional the photos look, the less of a scam the ad's going to look. So really keep that in mind. Don't just go out and take willy-nilly photos, but put some effort into it and get your opinions. Get the opinions from your manager. Get the opinions from your financial manager on the photos that you're using. Finally, to help kind of bulk up your ads, how I've been talking about, you should talk about specials and promotions that you have. You don't just have to talk about amenities. There's nothing wrong with talking about amenities, but if you're running a special, talk about it. If you have a move-in special where there's $100 off your rent, talk about that. And since we delete ads every 24 hours, it's not the end of the world to talk about something that's only 24 hours long. I mean, if it's a roof post, then yeah, don't talk about a 24-hour special, because those get renewed. But you should be deleting your manual Craigslist ads at the end of every day. So if you have a promotion that's running for 3 days, you can talk about it all 3 days. If you have a resident referral program that you want to talk about, if you have a move-in special that you want to talk about, if one of your community partners is going to bring in pizza for everyone for a day where they just set up pizza in your lobby. I mean, you can talk about all of these things, because this is what our competition is not doing. I guarantee you. Our competition is not taking the extra time to talk about deals and to talk about promotions. They're not taking the extra time to customize an ad. But we don't want to be like our competition, right? We want to be better than them. We want to be different. So if there's something that is unique to you, even if it's just for a week, talk about it. It doesn't have to be so generic and so general each time. You can talk about a specific unit. I mean, I encourage you to talk about a specific unit. Say, this floor plan, blah, 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 whatever the name of the floor plan is, has newly renovated appliances. It has all black countertops. It has fresh paint. It has a beautiful view. This is the view that you would be getting. Go to that apartment and take a picture of the view. I mean, that stuff is unique to us. It's going to be eye-catching. It's going to be different than our competition. So take the extra time to do that. And if you feel like you want to take a bunch of pictures at once, take them all at once. If you want to take pictures maybe once a week, take them once a week. But take the extra time to customize your ads. I think another great idea is maybe if you're new to the property and you're not exactly sure what your prospects want, read reviews online and see what are people talking about? What is important to people? What do they like? What do they not like? Because I guarantee you people are reading our online reviews, and sometimes they say things that aren't necessarily true. And we can use Craigslist as a means of kind of recovering from those. So if a prospect says, well, I hated how the office staff was not friendly, and I hated how there was never parking, I mean, talk about that in the ad. Say, we have such a friendly staff. Like, we try our hardest to accommodate everyone the best that we can. We care about customer service. Everyone's guaranteed a parking spot. We have garages available for rent. I mean, you can talk about, you can kind of defend us in a way and really overcome the negative reviews, but definitely talk about the positive things. If people say, I love our maintenance staff, they are so quick, they respond so fast, like, I appreciate them, talk about that in your ads. It's perfectly fine to brag about things that you do really well. And I've seen the maintenance reports for every property. I know that some of you guys complete service requests in like 1 hour. That's how amazing your teams are. Talk about that. Even if it's close to 3 hours, still talk about that. If it's not up to par, if you're at a 6 or 7 hour average response, okay, maybe don't talk about that because we don't want to. We have a standard, obviously, of 3 hours. So use your judgment when it comes to certain things. But if your property is really amazing at 1 or 2 things, talk about that. It's okay to brag about your property. It really is okay. And these are 2 ads I'm going to show you are really, really, really great examples of ads that you can follow. So this is an ad from the Falls at Hunters Point. I think right away you'll notice that the photo is eye-catching. I think bedrooms work well, especially if they're of your mini model instead of just a blank floor plan. Okay, you can also see that the headline is really good. The Love Where You Live is a good headline, and it's not necessarily going to take you longer than 20 seconds to put the photo and put the headline in place, but beyond just having a good headline and a good photo, the paragraph below is really good. And in the beginning, she talks about some of the amenities that they have. They talk about washers and dryers. They talk about spas. She lists the amenities, and at the end, she follows it up with her contact information. She follows it up by talking about what her name is. At the top of the ad, you can't see, but I checked to make sure that she did the no reply box, and she did. So this is a great kind of shell of an ad if you want to take some ideas from this. An ad that I love just as much is one from San Marino, and the headline is good. The photo is really good. I love that. It's so just eye-catching. It's bright, it's pretty, it's fun. I would want to live there. Moving into the bottom of the ad, the body of it, she talks about how there's great customer service. She talks about a park that's nearby. She talks about a golf course that's nearby, restaurants that are nearby, that there's a Target, that there's a mall. She talks about the amenities that are listed. I mean, this is a great, great ad. And if you are struggling for creativity, you should talk about what's surrounding your property as well as what's on your property. So if you need some creativity, this is a great ad. If you want more great ads, feel free to email marketing, and I would be happy to send you some links or some screenshots of other ads. But these are both really good. We are wrapping up the end of our training. I hope that it was short and sweet and painless for you. We are more than happy to help here in marketing, but I really think that you should ask yourself those questions that I pointed out earlier and ask if you have made the appropriate steps to do the improvements on an individual ad. If you feel like you're doing everything right and you're still not getting traffic, then feel free to email us or call me directly, and I would be happy to look at your ads, some resources that you should be utilizing. We have a post-a-lot log, and basically you write out every single ad that you created. You write out the headline, you write out the number associated with it, and this is great if your property struggles with posting consistently. This will help get you in the habit of posting, and it's just kind of a quick reference on if your leasing agents were posting or if you posted to Roof. So you should be utilizing the post-a-lot log, again, a timer, whether this is on your phone or some kind of manual timer that you buy at the store. You should be using a timer until you get into the habit of posting on a regular, consistent basis. You should also be utilizing the headline idea list, and again, we sent that out to everyone. And if you need that, that will be on the back office. But if you need that and you're confused on where to find it, you can email us in marketing. You should also be utilizing fresh photos, which we already talked about the importance of that. And then finally, and something that has only happened here and there, but if you feel like you need a new Craigslist account and you just think that it's easier just to create your own, I would really, really, really strongly advise that you do not do that, because is so much more that goes into a Craigslist account than just creating a Gmail account. There's a lot more that we do with it on the marketing end, and if you feel like you need a new account or if you got locked out of yours, you forgot your password, I have all of those files. So if you need your tracking number, if you need your password, if you need your email account, just email me or call me, and I would much rather get that for you, or if need be, create one for you, but don't create your own ads, please. That wraps up our entire best practices training. I hope that you found this inspiring and motivating and useful, if anything. I think that if you really commit to this and you make these ads and these best practices a priority for the next 2 weeks, I know that you're going to see improvements, and I've already seen improvements on our traffic sheets. I can already see that everyone is getting traffic, and I mean, that's amazing to me, and that's the best thing that I could want. So thank you for taking the time to improve your ads, and thank you for taking the time to listen to this training. And if you have any feedback, any suggestions, any comments, please email us in marketing, and I would be happy to learn better ways for improvement. But that wraps up our training, so I hope you have a great day. Bye.